review powers and exponents and do a couple of examples to help us remember how they work. So we're going to title this powers and exponents, and you can add that to your table of contents. So let's review. The product of repeated, product, remember, means multiply, factors, and remember factors are the numbers being multiplied, can be expressed as a power. A power consists of a base and its exponent. So it is the whole thing, and I'll draw you a picture in a minute. Remember, the exponent tells how many times the base is used as a factor. So remember, this is the only time the little guy tells the big guy how many or what to do. So remember, if I gave you, for example, 6 to the 4th, 6 is my base, 4 is my exponent, but the whole thing is called the power. Okay, that was from our notes in 6th grade. So let's talk about writing an exponent. So if I give you this example, 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. Remember, we're using dots or parentheses for multiply. We're not using x. So we have 7 is the number that is being repeated. Okay, so that is our base. And it is repeated 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So that is our exponent. So 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 is the same as 7 to the 4th power. We can also do this with variables, which is, again, why we are not using x for times. And when we use variables, we want to write them in alphabetical order. So here I have x's and y's. X comes before y's, and I have 2 x's. I can put a dot in the middle if I want, or I can just say y, 1, 2, 3 to the 3rd. So remember, when you have variables, you can write it just with the letters next to each other, or with a dot. Either is acceptable. So to evaluate, if you recall from last year, is a fancy word for solve a power. Perform the repeated multiplication to find the product. And these underlined words are just going to be those keywords that we're looking at. So here is an example. So if I said evaluate negative 6 to the 4th power. Notice I put parentheses around my negative 6 because that means that the number is not 6 times the negative 1. It is just negative 6. So we would write, if we wanted to solve this, negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6. Notice I use parentheses here and not a dot. If I use a dot, it looks a little too much like my negative, and I don't want to confuse myself. We learned last year when you have multiple numbers, we're going to go ahead and multiply the first two. Negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. Negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36. Now I have 36 times 36. We could also write 36 squared. So evaluate again means solve, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply that. 6 times 6 is 36. 18 and 3 is 21. Don't forget your placeholder. 3 times 6 is 18. Carry the 1. 10, 6, 9, 2, and 1. So negative 6 to the 4th power is equivalent to 1,296. I have to go to the next page. If you have space, keep on the page that you're on. So we learned last year the order of operations states, remember order of operation is PEMDAS or GEMDAS, however you learned it. So the order of operations states that exponents, which is the E here, are evaluated or solved to find the product. Oh, I'm sorry. I was on the wrong line. Before multiplication or division. I apologize for that. Before multiplication, division, and then, of course, addition and subtraction. So remember, you want to do your parentheses, and then your exponents, and after that, you can do everything else. So we're going to do an example of this, and we'll work on this in class when I see you tomorrow. So here we go. There's that word evaluate again. Evaluate, and I'm going to give you m squared plus the difference of n and m all cubed. And I'm going to tell you that m is a -3 and n is 2. So in this case, evaluate with variables means we're going to plug those numbers in for the letters and then we're going to solve it. So m squared, so m is a -3. I'm going to put that in parentheses so I know that all goes together. -3 squared plus parentheses n is 2 minus, that's the minus from here, and then m is a -3. So you're going to have to use some of your rules from last year. We learned double negatives become a positive. So now, according to order of operations, parentheses first. So I'm going to leave this -3 squared. 2 plus 3 is 5 to the 3rd power. Now I can do my exponents. So I'm going to say -3 times -3, because squared means we write it twice, plus 5 times 5 times 5, because again, the 3 says we write it 3 times. Now I can do my multiplication. -3 times -3, negative times a negative is a positive, plus, and then I can break these into pieces. So I've got 25 times 5. I cannot add yet because I still have multiplication, so I'm going to bring my 9 down. 25 times 5 is 125. And finally now I can add, because I'm finished with my multiplying, 134. I will see you tomorrow.